In today's society, it's pretty normal to be walking around with a cell phone in your hand, catching up on the latest news, checking your Twitter, your Facebook, and email accounts. Most people don't realize it, but cell phones have changed the way we live drastically. They've had a huge impact on our society, but would you say that this impact is negative or positive? The current technology is vital for our way of life today. We definitely couldn't have said that 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we had payphones instead of cell phones, we had pagers, and we even wrote letters. From personal experience, I can tell you that my older brother and I used to write letters to each other whenever he was in the Army, and it was a very good experience. The times have changed, but are these changes good or bad? They could be both good and bad. In a blog in the HuffPost, Daniel Burris says that technology can give you cancer and technology can cure cancer in August of 2012. So if you look at it from that perspective, he's right. Cell phones, as you know, have been around for a while now, but the smartphone has just recently been introduced to society. Most people have smartphones that are able to check your email, Twitter, and Facebook networks. Keeping up with your social life can be great because you know everything as it's happening and you're aware, but they can also be not so great in the sense that you're losing your personal interactions. This has definitely become an issue for the previous generations because they grew up without all these things, as opposed to our generation that grew up with them. They don't see it in the same way as our generation does. In a video by BBC News entitled "Smartphone Addicted Family," the mother admits to being addicted to her smartphone and even using it during dinner time. So as you can see, there are some advantages and disadvantages to all this access to modern day technology. For my second point, smartphones kill conversation. Smartphones not only create conversation, but they also kill conversation. By killing conversation, I mean communication is less personal. About 20 years ago, this wasn't the case. People held face-to-face interactions and even personal interactions on the phone. Nowadays, the way to communicate with people has changed. Texting has become the primary source for communication. Most people don't have an issue with this, but people in the older generation do because they don't see it in the same ways we do. I cannot hold a genuine conversation with someone without seeing them look down at their phone, and I even catch myself doing it at times. For one, it's completely disrespectful, and two, since you're not giving the person your full attention, you're missing out on the majority of what they're saying. This definitely counts for 60% of the American people. For my third point, these are positive impacts of technology. I've mentioned negative impacts of smartphones on society, but what about the positive impacts? In August of 2010, Gordon Krovitz wrote, "Smartphones are without a doubt one of the best pieces of technology that have been developed over the past 5 years. It's amazing that a piece of equipment relatively small in size can be so powerful." He's completely right. Smartphones are useful to many people, not just the common teenager. Smartphones are very efficient for business people as well. As you know, there are applications or apps on your phone, and depending on what job you have, the apps can be very efficient to you. Whether you have an iPhone or a Droid, there is still an innumerable amount of apps to choose from. When you think of an app, most people think of games. New technology has created the app for almost anything you can imagine. As Apple says, there's an app for that. There are apps for banking, translating, and even barcode scanning. These are only a few of the apps that have made the world more efficient. Smartphones can be used for mapping, weather, and now FaceTime. And FaceTime is very efficient because you can actually see the person while you're talking to them. We've gone over positive and negative impacts of smartphones on society. So what is the verdict? Rather than trying to choose between phone and no phone, use the smartphone responsibly. Take account of all the times that you use your smartphone and be aware of when you should and shouldn't use it. Also take time to turn off your phone throughout the day and spend time with your friends and family. You'll be surprised that you don't need it as much as you think.